What's going on, everybody, and on here? And as you can hear, I still don't have much of a voice, but I'm going to power through it because this is really, really interesting with what's going on with Avatar: The Last Airbender, and especially with the jumpstart booster boxes. So one of the things that we saw with play boxes and Spider-Man was there were so many openings, and as we got into release date, a lot of the cards had 3, 4, 500 copies of rares and mythics on the market. And I think what happened was a lot of the big stores, they did mass box openings, not because they wanted to, but quite honestly, they probably had to just to get liquidity for some of the boxes. And obviously what we're seeing now is Wizards came right behind this with another print run because they had a plan in advance, and they're desperately trying to make their Q4, which I have been screaming from the rooftops. But I think with Jumpstart, there's a big opportunity. I'm going to tell you why. So the first thing of which, and let's go here to Stomping Grounds. Stomping Grounds is generally among the lowest prices for this stuff. Obviously, if you're a sub for me, for non, a lot of times we're a little bit better price, but certainly not with Jumpstart. So $89. So distro price for this. The lowest I think was $96.50, and I'm sure these guys are getting a price probably somewhere between $92 and $94, just based on volume. Of all the folks I've spoken to rep-wise, nobody's aware of any account that's getting a better price. Now, that doesn't mean that these guys didn't get it, but I'm just not aware of anybody getting a price that is sub $89. So this $89 sale, this is a pretty sizable loss because they're probably looking at $8 to ship on average, another buck or so for a container. And then you're paying 2.4% plus 30 cents processing fee on this, unless they have a little bit of a better negotiated rate. So net, they're probably walking away with somewhere in the mid 70s on a product that probably costs them north of $90. So call it anywhere between $15 and $17.50 loss on the product, which is really something we haven't seen in a long time. So let's go to TCGPlayer. This is actually far worse. So you have Scotty's TCG shop, and poor Scotty here is really fucking desperate. $410. So not only are you only getting $68 a box, I mean, I guess you're probably getting, you're getting just under 70. So $68 a box-ish. You're paying 13% in processing fees, and then you got to ship the thing, which is probably going to cost you $30 to ship the case because these cases are pretty heavy. So you're basically at $320, $330 net. So you're sub $60 a box. This is dumping product to take a bath. And normally I would say, not a big deal. I feel bad for Scotty. But look at the rest of these guys. 88 Card House, not a small fucking player. Phantom Itch, not a small player. Great English, but not a small player. There's some folks here. I mean, every single one of these prices is below distro price, which is insane. So I think what happened here, and the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to show for myself and go to my EV tracker. And this is an EV tracker that we have. It's a non-EV. So if you want to join the Discord, it's $12.99 a month. It is much cheaper than the competitors. And you also get access to pre-release product for Magic at a discounted rate. So when it loads, you can go into this. And I want to look at Avatar Jumpstart, because I'm going somewhere with this conversation. So, here you have all kinds of fun stuff. There's a free trial on the website. You guys can go take a look at it or check it out. A lot of the other EV trackers I've looked at, they inflate the prices because a lot of times the market value, which is used in the API, it lags when pricing is moving relatively quickly. So, we have low price. You have market. And so here's your price TCGPlayer, but your box expected value, this is every card. The pack, $172 for market, $137 with low list. So low list is what you want to go by because this is effectively what you can sell the product at. And then this is the SIF floor. So any cards above 50 cents, it's $109. So not quite positive yet based on what you have to buy them for. Now, obviously, as we get into Friday, with all the incentives for Black Friday, there may be an opportunity. So, this is just the percent of pack EV based on the price. So this tells you which decks you're looking for. So you have Toph, Katara, Roku, and all these, etc. But what I want to touch on here, this is the actual card value. And here we can actually click on rare, common, uncommon, mythic. I want to go to mythic here. And I'm going to sort on low price. So what's interesting here with Toph, you have the market price from TCGPlayer. You also have the low price, lowest ship. And the reason why the market price is higher is because the market price is calculated as a lagging indicator. So if you click on this here, we are going to go into the website. And here you can see the normal market is $52.22. So $58.25, which is, $58.25 versus $58.22. So it updates every so often. Now here you have your near min up to 56.99. But if you go in here, here you have a sale that was down to 53. So this is the one that was listed when it pulled the listing last. But what I want to look at here, and for some reason, this isn't giving me an accurate number of cards sold, and I haven't figured out why. But if I get rid of the foil, because, foil you cannot get in Jumpstart. You can only get normal. There are fewer than 68 cards here. There are none of these listed. And 624 of these sold. Just today, 30 sold and 68 listed, 49 the day before, 75. So what I think is happening as we go back to the EV tracker, and here you can see Katara, the market price is $30. Now the low list is up to 31. You can see the same with Roku, 19 going up to 20. So a lot of these cards were dumped at release for liquidity. And look, we ripped some as well because there's no way I was selling it at a loss. But as all the stores have chosen to sell the product at a loss, there aren't a whole lot of folks that are ripping these for singles, and it's going to create a shortage, at least in the near term. And that's what we're seeing here with the price of these cards going up. Again, if we look at Toph, this was an $18 card for a while. You look back here, 15, 15, 15, and you just look at the massive amount of cards bought. You look at any of these cards in Spider-Man, you're at 468. And the reason for this, again, in my opinion, when you open these Jumpstart packs, they are a little bit of a pain in the ass. So you have to open the outer pack, and then you have the inner pack that has a cellophane wrapper on. So you effectively have double to 2.5 times the amount of labor to sort these cards. And then if you're using a sorting machine like we do, we have a Roku, we have a Fizzbatch, you have to pull the front card out because it jams everything up. It doesn't get registered. And then some of the lands don't read, especially the full art land doesn't always read correctly. So it's a pain in the ass to break these cards. So inherently, what I think is going to happen is the price of all of these cards is going to go up dramatically. Let's look at Katara real quick. I don't want to just give you guys one example here. Let's go to the normal. There's more foil listings than normal listings. Now, there's 119 for sale. 633 have sold. And you 60-day, 110. Now, granted, this is released, but 119 of these is not that many. I think there's 44 decks, and I know the Mythic decks are a little bit lighter. Let's see if somebody listed a stupid number like 50. Not really. Yeah, I honestly, I don't think there's 119. I think this includes the foil. Because look here, you get 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Here you get the 38, 39, 40, 49, 50, 57, 58, 58 copies, 59, 60 copies. Yeah. There's only 60 copies of this card listed. There were 60 copies that sold on Sunday. There's one day worth of sales, and we're going into Black Friday where people are going to be buying the shit out of these cards because of the 10 to 13% incentive. They're not being opened, and this Roku card, all of a sudden we got hammered with this. So this must be fairly relevant in the meta. I just want to go through this real quick. And just do this. I mean, 49 foil. There's 16 normal cards. Same deal. Almost 600 of these sold. 35 today. And this is it. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 10, 13, 14, 15, 18, 19, 20, 27, 31 cards. And they're gone. These cards are going to go through the roof because nobody's ripping the packs because it's super labor intensive. And I want to walk you guys through this. And if I wasn't looking at the EV calculator, again, I look at this to decide what I want to do with the boxes, because if I can sell play boxes at even 145, I make a couple bucks on the box. It's not a big deal. But when you have something like this that all the stores are selling at a loss, you either take the loss and you follow everybody, or you have to rip for singles and you take a look at the appropriate strategy to move these. And again, they're such a giant pain in the ass to rip. I don't think any of the big stores are doing it because it's easier for them to sell a box and lose 15 or 20 bucks than it is to rip these and wait. And again, we're not there yet, but there's 44 decks, I think, total. And there's a couple different iterations of a bunch of them, but you should get 2 to 3 of these in each box. So, it almost looks to me like these top couple cards, once they run out, I mean, we could be, I hate to say it, but we could be looking at something like, my God, what was the original jumpstart with the Raptor person, lady, shaman thing? Where the card's $100. I mean, maybe it's not there, but maybe they sell for 50 or 60 bucks, and all of a sudden the EV on these boxes is 170. Now, people are going to rip them, but there's an opportunity here, especially as we go into Black Friday, where people are going to be able to buy these super cheap. Now, I do want to walk through one more thing with the EV calculator here, because I'm going to show a little bit. Again, pre-constructed decks. These are really, really cool. So let's go to World Shaper for EOC. So EOC. So here we have market low. So low is what I care about, right? And this is the market price. These just came out to the market. We're selling these for $119.99 for the folks that have subs to an on EV. And again, there's a free trial for a couple days, $13.99 a month. But if you're moving singles, you're going to get the best price from us as well. Because it's a pre-release price that, we have the allocation. You guys just have to order the couple weeks up until hand, because I'm basically ordering to demand on a lot of these. So let's go to World Shaper here quick. Now let's go to Counterintelligence, because this one might be better. If it wants to load, here we go. So here's a deck summary. This is your sealed price. This is your singles value. This is your value ratio. Really straightforward. You can export the CSV. So if you want, it's super easy to upload. If you want TCGPlayer. But this is something we recently added, and this is really, really cool. So this is pulling the Card Kingdom buy list. So the 56 of the 97 non-basic lands in the set. Maybe it does include the basic lands. Have a buy list at Card Kingdom. The average buy price is 53 cents. So if you buy this deck, you can sell this to Card Kingdom for $29.71. If you want to get credit, you can probably get a little bit more out of it. But again, we're selling our decks at $120 each. So $60 per pair, $30 a deck. You can sell them to Card Kingdom, and then you still have 43% of the cards to sell on TCGPlayer or Mana Pool or Card Trader, wherever you want. So here's your market price. Here's your direct low. Here's your low list. So you can go through all those. And then here we have some sales velocity stuff, which tells you the number sold per day, the number of transactions, and then the actual card and the SKU. You can go right into this. I do want to show one other really cool thing here. You can go right into the card here. You can see what the sell-through is, etc. 13 per day sold. Right, here's your 13 per day sold. And I think it's important understanding what the sales velocity is, because when you're looking at these decks, if the EV is high compared to what you have to pay for them, that's great. But how quickly can you sell the product? And that's where I think we differentiate a little bit, because we look at this from a practical business perspective. How do we make money? How do we make the tool and fine tune it really to be as effective as possible? So one last thing I want to go through real quick. And we did go through the Final Fantasy collectors and we reprogrammed everything. And I think this is really, really cool. Excuse me, my voice is about to give out. So this is the limit break. These are all the surge foils, and this we had to reprogram all of this from the API. So we have market, direct, low list. And if you see here, you have the sealed price is $186. Low list is $306. So there is a large amount of opportunity here. But as you see with some of the individual cards, and you can sort of market price if you want. Some of these don't have any prices. Secret Rendezvous. 3170, low list is 30-ish and change. So let's go to near mint, because everything on here is in near mint. So 2848. Yeah, so the last transaction was 3170. So it's down a little bit. But if you look at this, there aren't that many that sell. You have 8 of these that sold in the last month. So something like this looks absolutely fantastic on paper, but there's not a whole lot of liquidity on it. And that's part of the challenge with these collector commanders, where it looks like there's huge value, but the singles don't sell that often. But anyway, this is a cool thing that we have in here that I haven't really seen on any other sites, because quite honestly, it's just brute force remapping every single card. So anyway, guys, I did want to talk through that with Avatar Jumpstart, because it's $60 some. If the EV of cards over 50 cents right now is 110, it is only going higher, because it is clear, at least to me, in all likelihood, the big stores are not ripping these for singles. So there is going to be an opportunity. So anyway, guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord, especially if you want some cheap product, and have a great Thanksgiving. We'll probably talk tomorrow, but talk Pokemon.